Alright, before we get started, quick question for you guys viewing. When I say the words dad rap, who immediately comes to mind? Like, before we even get started, leave a comment below, like, top 3 people that come to your mind when you say dad rap. Off the bat, I'm willing to bet I'm gonna be hearing about Jay-Z, you know, man's in his 50s, actual father, has songs about fatherhood, leaving his kids billions. Maybe you think about Run the Jewels for a lot of their Rage Against the Machine era energy in modern hip hop, despite the fact that Killer Mike and Run the Jewels did a song with TurboTax for a commercial.
Now taxes is getting the TurboTax app and filing your taxes yourself.
Maybe Kanye, no, not Kanye, because he's a bad dad. Kanye is a bad dad, so we're not gonna talk about Kanye.
Feels like you still have a little bit of animosity there.
I'm evil.
Or maybe it's somebody like Logic, or no, I'm sorry, no one's talking about Logic. But whatever name that you decided to pick in your head, like I said, leave them in the comments down below. We'll see if you're right. Maybe you saw the thumbnails, don't cheat. But we're gonna go ahead and talk about how, in a way, your instincts were probably right, but not for the reasons that you think.
Step on it, daddy.
So my parents' generation, probably your parents' generation, they had what we call dad rock. Rolling Stones on repeat, Springsteen in the garage, Zeppelin while fixing the lawnmower, or maybe some Parliament Funkadelic if you had a black family. And here's what that was: artists who already peaked, and you know, you're 50 years old listening to the music of your 20s. That's nostalgia with the soundtrack, you know, your youth fossilized in vinyl. But my generation and, you know, generation of those a little bit older than me, were in something that, in my opinion, is fundamentally different. So back in 2018, Uproxx published a piece called Jay-Z is the Rolling Stones, a dad rock to dad rap conversion guide. The observation is, hip-hop has existed long enough now that dads who came of the age of the 90s and 2000s can share their formative music with their kids. That's the surface reading, and it's not wrong. It's a very interesting concept. It's why I started this video. But here is, I think, the fundamentals that they didn't fully get. The Stones aren't discovering new recording techniques, and Fleetwood Mac isn't mentoring many of today's chart toppers. I mean, they're mainly old and dead. But the rappers that I grew up with, I mean, they're still building, they're still producing, they're still mentoring the artists that my kids are discovering even now. And in a way, they're learning fatherhood the same way. They're figuring it out in real time, just like the rest of us. They're not passing down what their fathers did successfully. And so in my own recollection of what I would consider dad rap, I started paying attention to the artists that I really enjoyed, especially when they became fathers themselves. And in that observation, I noticed that a lot of my favorite rappers, now that they're parents, their music has honestly, in a way, reflected the growth that they have achieved during fatherhood. And I'm talking about parental growth. You can talk about how they are as people, but I feel like I got some good picks here. So let's start off with, I think, what I consider like the most quintessential dad rapper, ScHoolboy Q. ScHoolboy Q is not as globally recognizable as his TDE record mate, Kendrick Lamar. And if you don't know TDE, that's Top Dog Entertainment, and that was the label that gave us Kendrick, SZA, Isaiah Rashad, West Coast powerhouses that shaped a lot of 2010s hip-hop and R&B. Q's positioned very perfectly though, just below mainstream recognition but deeply respected in the rap community. West Coast gangsta credibility meets complete transparency about his daughter, Joy, controlling every decision that he makes. And that positioning matters. It makes him the perfect entry point for asking what's actually happening here. Before the birth of his daughter Joy, ScHoolboy Q's life was defined by the Hoover Street Crip affiliations in his music. Those weren't just lyrics, that was his daily reality. Then in 2013, his world changed and his priorities flipped. I found an interview from 2016 in which ScHoolboy Q was interviewed by Noisy, and he said something that really encapsulates my definition of dad rap. It just trips me out seeing her read or just doing certain shit, because I didn't learn to read till I was like in the 4th or 5th grade, bro. He's not replicating what his father did or didn't do successfully. He's building educational infrastructure that he himself never experienced. And then he followed it up with, girls need their daddies. More than anything, they need their fathers. boys too. Like, men are the most important thing in a child's life. And I mean, yes, you can debate that for sure, but I at least think that the heart is really there. That's not shame, that's observation, watching what collapses when parents in general, not just fathers, are absent. Then deliberately building a support structure around that type of response or trauma or pain. And Q demonstrates something else, complete transparency about how fatherhood reshaped his creative output. That openness, that willingness to publicly admit your child controls your priorities, that's vulnerability reshaping the art right there. And in doing my research, it was really surprising to find out how fatherhood reshaped a lot of the ways that a lot of my favorite rappers from when I was a teenager in my early 20s, stuff like that, how fatherhood ended up reshaping their lives in very similar ways that it reshaped mine. 5 of my favorite artists from back in the day, they all found 5 different constructive and positive methods to not only tackle on parenthood, but also grow from it as well. So here is my dad rap primer. Now, before Sebastian, Wiz's whole persona was built around being the stoner who'd steal your girl and make her smoke joints instead of blunts. That party lifestyle, that carefree image, that very much like I'm gonna forever be in college type of energy, that was his brand. So Wiz Khalifa and Amber Rose, they divorced in 2014, and their son Sebastian was born 1 year prior in 2013. In his Drink Champs interview, episode 360 about March of 2023, Wiz Khalifa described how they handle it.
My parents were divorced since I was 2, and I had both of them in my life. Very important. Both of them in my life. Love my mother, love my dad, but they are dysfunctional as fuck. Can't be in the same room together, and that's not good for a kid. Like, you know what I mean? And it's not their fault because they probably didn't grow up seeing the best functioning anything, but we gotta break that, and we gotta be better for our fucking kids. So there's a lot.
Then he added,
I got her back. She knows it. She got my back. I know it. And we do a great job, you know, being there for our kid. We do so many things for Sebastian, and not even just for him, but we're such a good unit for him that I didn't see growing up. You know what I'm saying? Like, my parents, they weren't able to function as well as, you know what I'm saying, and her parents either. I think just that generation of dysfunction,
And here's what got to me. His parents' split happened, but they still maintained involvement. They watched what worked, but he's not just copying what they did, he's turning observation into specific structure. Like, listen to his words, professional co-parenting, like a job. That's systematic language, that's something that most people approach emotionally.
My whole thing is, I gotta show him the best of the best, you know what I mean? Because I learned the best of the best, and he's gonna learn the best of it.
Or they're gonna learn from somebody else if they don't.
I mean, not necessarily, but because like there's kids whose like dads go to jail for like 15 years, and in the end they still just want a relationship with their pop. So if you can just get in there early, that would be my advice, to just, you know what I'm saying, hold it down. But like, I'm just glad that everybody looks at my situation as like motivation. You know what I mean?
Goosebumps. I saw my dad die and told that nigga wake up. My mama woke me up and asked me for a wake up.
2 Chainz' father was incarcerated throughout most of his childhood, so he was physically absent, but when he was home, he was still emotionally engaged and available. This created something profound where he had the experience of having his father there, but it still left very deep gaps. In an Urban Daily interview, he discussed it like this. My father was in prison most of my young life growing up, but when he was around, he was engaged. He made the time count. And here's where it gets specific. In that same Urban Daily interview, he explained what that physical absence actually meant. The fact that my mom raised me used to bother my pop. He didn't know if a woman could raise a man. His parents had conflicting advice. His father would call from prison with guidance, and the moment he hung up, his mother would say, "Don't listen to him." So he got emotional depth from his father, real connection, real vulnerability, real mentorship, but it came in fragments. Phone calls from prison, brief windows when he was home before the next court date sent him back inside. Fast forward to 2023, and 2 Chainz has a podcast with his son Halo. On June 2nd, 2022, he announced it on Instagram with this caption: My kids used to watch other kids play on YouTube, so then I thought, who can be the kid that inspires and teaches through everyday mature conversations while also showing the relationship between father and son? In one viral clip, Halo says,
So, not like, let's say, not many black kids in the world can do a podcast with their dad and just talk about things that we don't even have no script of.
And he's filling the inverse of what he had. Weekly recorded conversations, public documentation of their dynamic, scheduled father-son time that gets protected because it's work infrastructure. He's building what his father couldn't, consistent physical presence. Not because his father's methods were wrong, but because the circumstances that created those gaps just don't exist anymore. And I mean, that's all that what parenting is, at least in my opinion. Half decent parenting is identifying the gaps that you had when you were being raised or maybe weren't being raised and just trying to fill in those gaps with your own kids. You want the secret to parenting? Well, there it is. Give me money now. So let's really quickly, we'll talk about A$AP Rocky really quick, because I think now he's defined by his relationship with Rihanna, because he won't come out with the damn album. And until then, he is Rihanna's husband. So let's talk about Rihanna's husband. So A$AP Rocky was homeless when he recorded his first mixtape. No father, his dad went to prison, and his brother was already dead, murdered actually. Early success launched him into this hardcore hedonism streak before he started settling down with Rihanna.
One nigga got that nigga up out of there, thank God. Yeah, I had to fight some nigga in the bathroom, no homo, we slipping on semen. Niggas was jerking off in the bathroom, nigga. I mean, I got that nigga up out of there, all that shit. You know, this is parts of the story that I don't like to.
So A$AP Rocky and Rihanna's relationship became public in about 2020. Their first son was born in 2022, second in 2023, and I believe a third is on the way. So, is a third one on the way?
She had a little girl.
Okay, she already had a little girl. Thank you. So I think the most impactful thing about Rocky's relationship with Rihanna was how he made being a devoted partner like publicly viable while still maintaining his A$AP Rocky persona. Like he had open discussions about fatherhood in interviews.
Becoming a father helped me just get my dad swag bag. I'm really on that. That's what I do. I'm on that dad swag. I love it. It stepped me up, honestly. Like I could justify doing things like not going to the club or just leaving after 5 minutes and shit like that, doing old people shit, you know, just for the sake of it. I act tired and I don't even be tired. I'm on my back hurt. Let me sit down. Dad swag on full. And they can't fuck with me, man.
Like very public about his love and affection for Rihanna, and very open about the fact that like she is the one bringing in the money right now, and he's just kind of allowed to just do whatever the hell that he wants. And I think a lot more people can be appreciative of having a bad bitch, especially if they are making more money than you.
But I want Gucci, you tell me, how important is it to have a good woman, man?
It's the most important thing you can have. It's the best decision you can make. My best decision ever was to marry her and be with her. Like, I got somebody to, you know, hold me accountable, and I got somebody, you know, watch TV with.
Like, I mean, this man was doing Fashion Week appearances with his wife while she was very pregnant. He's out there doing movies with Spike Jonze. Very much making himself like a dad rapper in all but actually coming out with an album. But it is very nice and very refreshing to see someone who is so openly happy. Like this is the black version of Travis and Taylor. Of course, you know, they did it first. So Travis and Taylor can thank A$AP Rocky and Rihanna for doing it first and setting up the blueprint. I mean, at least for Rocky, there is no separation between street cred and present father, because, I mean, he still almost caught that charge. Did y'all forget about that? I mean, it was dubious at best, but he still almost caught a charge. Partnership as a public commitment. You can be a very loving partner and still be who you are and still have the personality that you have. And, like, that's the general connecting thread in all of these dad rappers. You don't have to have seen it done right in order to do it right in the future. So like, here's the thing I keep asking myself is how many people are up watching these examples and still thinking to themselves, I can't do it because I haven't had it modeled for me. Because I mean, as I said earlier, to me that's backwards. These artists are proof that absence of a blueprint is where construction begins. You're gonna have to wing it though. You're gonna have to kind of make it up as you go along, and you're gonna get it wrong. But as long as you are learning from your mistakes, you will get there. And that's the long and short of it. So here is why all of these examples, why they matter at scale. Because enter Gucci Mane.
Main priority right now is just ice and Iceland. I remember in 06 I had to ice it Brighton. Had a fist fight in.
So if you're not deeply plugged into hip hop, here's what you need to know and understand about Gucci Mane and his influence and why Gucci is the GOAT. First, trap music. If you don't know the term, it is the subgenre that is built on heavy 808 drums, rapid hi-hat rolls, and street narratives. It dominates a lot of modern hip-hop because every bass-heavy track is exactly... God damn it, Donut. If you don't know it, you know the sound of it because a lot of it is behind a lot of modern hip-hop and even a lot of modern country today. Donut, get down. The rapper T.I. gets credit for coining the term trap music, but Gucci built its sonic architecture that can't be debated by very many. When NPR writes an article calling him the source code for modern trap, that's not hyperbole, that is documentation. That's proof in the trap pudding, my friend. Don't eat the pudding off that stove. Gucci discovered or directly mentored the following artists: the Migos, featured them before they had their mainstream breakthrough. Future, first collaborative mixtape, early co-signer of Future. Waka Flocka Flame, another big rapper that rode the wave. And most famously, Nicki Minaj steered her to Atlanta, connected her with Trapaholics for the Beam Me Up Scotty mixtape, which was the mixtape that eventually got her signed to Young Money Records and getting connected with Lil Wayne and Drake, leading to her downfall now. So thank Gucci for that. So when you hear 21 Savage, Lil Baby, Gunna, Young Nudie, you're hearing a lot of just the influences and just remnants of Gucci Mane. Your kids' favorite artists were mentored by the rappers you grew up with, whether you like it or not. And this is why my version of Dad Rock isn't just nostalgia, it's just sonic evolution. And Gucci's fatherhood arc shows us the complete journey from beginning to end.
Yeah, so what got you to the point where you said this is the time to share the story? Because most people will say, like, you know, I don't want to share that story. It might be embarrassing. It might make me look this way, but you were open and completely open about it. What got you to that point was like, this is the time?
I think when I had an episode in like 2019 or 2020, around COVID, and it was just like after that, I was like, man, I got to really just hold myself accountable and take care of my health. I don't never want to have an episode again. I'm like, I'm going to see a therapist. If I had to take medicine, I kind of like threw the towel in, like, you know, what I need to do to get better. I just didn't never want to have that happen again. And then my wife was pregnant with my little boy, and I'm like, I don't want to raise a family, and then my mental health gone. What if I have an episode I can't come back from? You know what I'm saying? So I just like starting to do the work and like start seeking the help.
So Gucci has an older son, Kaytheon, from a previous relationship. He didn't know about his son until his child was 10 months old. He wasn't present for the birth, didn't meet him until he was about a year old. He admitted in his autobiography that he hasn't been involved in his son's life as much as he should be. And then you fast forward to his son with Keisha Kior, Ice Davis, born in December of 2020. Keisha describes it like this: for maybe the first 4 weeks, Gucci put him to sleep every night on his chest by himself. He's a great dad. Present for the entire pregnancy, present for the birth, and Gucci now gets both of his kids up for school, and it restructured his daily schedule, and it ended up restructuring his entire mental health. And then in February, he welcomed his first daughter, Iceland Kior Davis. So let me tell you, like, personally, why Gucci's routine-based approach really hits hard for me, personally.
I wanted to ask, you know, what is your vice now, right? Is it working out? Is it the family? Is it praying? Like, what gets you away now?
Working out is a vice. Yeah. Work out 6 days out the week. Sometimes two times a day.
That definitely helps with the mental health.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Shopping?
Working out. No.
Not really shopping. I don't shop no more. I don't even buy cars like I used to buy cars every year, like, you know, switching my life. Now I ain't bought a car since 2020. I just got one Phantom. and I take the kids to school in the family.
Like, I have ADHD, more than likely undiagnosed autism as well, like the clinical kind that makes executive function feel like I'm trying to nail Jello to the wall. I have to go get my kids from school in a couple minutes, so I'm rushing through this video. So with that being said, routine isn't just helpful for me, it is the literal architecture that keeps my brain from catastrophic collapse. Like, autistic levels of meltdown, clinical autistic levels of meltdown. With me having the same sequence of getting them ready, getting them to school, and then coming home and doing the same couple things before I start my day, like, if I miss one of those, my entire day can spiral, it can get ruined, and then I just end up collapsing on myself, which ends up me collapsing upon my family. And it's really hard for me to course correct mid-chaos. So knowing someone who lived a life like Gucci Mane describing parental routine as a mental health infrastructure, that is something that is at the very least, like, if Gucci Mane can do it, I can fucking do it. That's not a metaphor, that's just documented treatment protocol right there. And yes, I'm not saying that like Gucci Mane is a person to idolize, but there are at least things that you can look about in a person's life and be like, they made growth, and if they can make that growth, I can too.
I gotta even be more vulnerable because I'm gonna help people that I don't even know. Because I was trying to help somebody who was so close to me. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't succeed.
I'm building what I need to function while simultaneously trying to help my kids build what they need to function and thrive when I'm not there. It's same architecture, but just different functions. And I guess what's frustrating about this is I am constantly, once again, why I made this whole goddamn channel, is that I'm constantly hearing people talking about no good male role models, no good people for young men, young children to look up to. And it's like, okay, there may not be perfect angel examples, but I mean, honestly, if you take the time to look, you can find lots of things to at least say, like, that's worth at least trying to emulate. So to wrap up, before I have to go grab my kids, let's just go over all of this again real quick. ScHoolboy Q witnesses his daughter read and builds educational infrastructure that he never experienced. Wiz Khalifa turns observation into specific co-parenting structure that his parents never quite demonstrate, at least not on the same level. Chainz fills the inverse gap. His father gave deep emotional connection in limited time, so he built consistent physical presence for the same outcome. A$AP Rocky is trying to model healthy partnership publicly despite having no good blueprint. And Gucci Mane, daily parental routine as the foundational structure that prevents psychiatric collapse while building stability for his own children. In me doing my research for this video, I found the same observation. It's just different gaps with different solutions. Like I said earlier, that is all good parenting is. It's just identifying the gaps and finding solutions for them. So go back to that name that you picked in the beginning. So whoever you thought of as dad rap, I'm betting that your instinct was right, but now you can see it wasn't about age, it wasn't really about nostalgia. To me, as cheesy as it is, which is the most dad rap thing ever, dad rap is artists who are still actively shaping their current sound while simultaneously figuring out fatherhood or just parenthood in real time. That's why it's not cringe like dad rock, and that's why you can still listen to dad rap while pulling up at the school and still be cool. Dad rock is not nostalgia. Dad rap is parallel evolution. Like, our parents were listening to bands that had already peaked. You are listening to artists who are currently mentoring the people that your kids are discovering next. Like, hands-on mentoring. And more importantly, you're watching them demonstrate that you don't need perfect inheritance to build functional presence. You just need to recognize the gaps and start filling them in, like concrete. Brick by brick. Burr. I'm really proud of that joke, thank you. So now that you have reached the end of this video, I want you to leave another comment. This is the post video comment saying, now that you have at least my definition of dad rap, who would you consider a dad rapper now? I mean, this has enough grounds to do a part 2, so if I get enough asking for it, if I get enough, views and whatnot, I'll do a part 2. This was a quick and easy and fun video to do. I needed to do that because the Gundam Wing stuff was a lot of children soldiers in war and too many modern parallels in my mind. So I'm happy to do something a lot more lighthearted. So I have like 3 other videos that I want to try to film this week, so I'm keeping the outro short. Thank you for your time. I'm trying to hit 30,000 subs by the end of this year, so I am cranking them out, baby. Wait, no, not like that. I am trying to get a lot of videos done. So thank you for your time. Thank you for making it this far. Like and subscribe, like the video, share it with others, subscribe to my channel, help number go up, and then a rising tide lifts all boats. So thank you very much. I love you all. Have a good day. I hope you all survive conference week. Okay, bye.